Hello, everybody. Doa here, and I decided to go ahead and record some self-analysis, some commentary over a recent match I played at one of my locals. I decided to take the Boba2 Cunning list out for a spin. Now, this list took top 4 at a Planetary Qualifier. It was played very, very well, and you know me, right? I pulled the showcase. I'm like, all right, I gotta try to build around this. I've been focusing on aggression a lot with that. But I thought it'd be fun to, just try a list that had found some success for someone else. Cunning obviously is, I would say, the most obvious way to look at building Boba2. There's a lot of ambush and things, but I think there's a fair amount of green in green as well, right? So you kind of get all the ambush with this a little bit. I feel like it plays a little bit like some of the Han 1 green lists personally, and you'll see why a little bit later on. But my first match of the day ended up being against a Grand Inquisitor with Security Complex, so very interesting matchup to start the day. Not meta at all, but I thought it'd be fun to commentate over and kind of check out some of my own play with this, but then also see two very unique lists run into each other, so I hope you enjoy it. You can see the First Legion Snowtrooper put down by them. First of all, that's when you have to watch out a little bit because it does get some extra damage and overwhelm when it swings into something on your side that has been damaged. I have my Battlefield Marine out. Pretty typical start, and this deck doesn't run only units with keywords, which of course is the temptation, right? If you're playing Boba2, that everything has a keyword. You don't necessarily need to do that. I like to do that, but, this list, I think, does benefit from saying, you know what? There's just good cards in the game, and we're going to play those. I feel compelled to trade here, or not trade, to just attack in and get a good trade on my side, I guess we'll say. And then he goes ahead and plays the fifth brother there. So, again, it is Grand Inquisitor. This is pretty normal. I'm going to go ahead and resupply here, which is a dangerous move. I admit I have not played against a Grand Inquisitor probably since maybe print and play before the game came out. I just haven't hit them. And so he totally catches me with this one. I should have absolutely played something else in my hand to try to get rid of it. I don't know if I necessarily had anything in there, but the fact that he's able to ready it with the Grand Inquisitor ability and go ahead and put a shield on it and get that little bit of damage onto ground unit when you attack with the fifth brother. As you can see here, I'm like, oh, wait a second. Does he keep his shield? Does he lose his shield? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, okay. So I think he does lose his shield there a little bit. We'll see. Yeah, okay. And it does gain. Okay, yeah, it does have the shield, right? Because I pretty much forgot what that card did. So that caught me. That caught me. I'll admit it. I had to focus up. I had to be like, oh, okay, all right. So I haven't played against these cards in a while. I haven't played against this leader in a very, very long time. I need to get it together. Come on, Doa. You can play better than this. But really, really cool, I think, play here using the security complex with the Grand Inquisitor to, kind of protect the unit that you just did some damage to. And using that very early on in the game, I think is a very smart thing to do. Again, this is a player that plays a lot of off-meta stuff. The thing is, at my locals, I feel like we have a really great group of players that are very good at creating compelling off-meta lists. And so it always makes for a really fun locals experience. And, when it comes around to like store showdown time, people tend to play things that are a little bit more in the meta. But I do like the fact that I go to my locals and I just have no idea what I'm going to face. It's fun. So going to spare the target with that, send it back to hand, which is a little bit annoying. It does, quote unquote, waste his shield a little bit there. And, he's just going to go ahead and replay it. I'm like, you know what? I think that's fine. You can't put a shield on it again, so here's my Battlefield Marine. And I know what he's going to do. Obviously, you can do the ready it with the Grand Inquisitor, deal 2 damage to it. And that does kind of synergize well with the card itself. But, I've got a unit out. I'm okay. I take a little bit more damage. I'm at 12. This deck is hitting pretty fast, pretty furious here. But that is to be expected when you're playing against a Grand Inquisitor, right? They can come at you very, very quick. So I've got to find a way to stabilize. I'm trying to keep my cards in hand in front of the camera, by the way, but I don't know if I'm doing the greatest job of that. I do have a U-Wing, Echo-based Defender. I do have Syndicate Lackeys as well. Syndicate Lackey is one of those really nice cards that synergizes well with Boba Fett 2 because you can play it, use the Boba Fett leader ability to give it +1 attack, and then swing in extra hard for 6 there. So what am I going to do? My resupply did get me to 6 resources, so I'm kind of just trying to hold on, right? I'm trying to hold on until I can get to the U-Wing reinforcements. I'm trying to hold on until I can get to some of my bigger cards, which I am hoping to draw. And I do have a little bit of smuggle in there. For now, though, we're just going to play the Syndicate Lackeys. go in and take out the fifth brother, just trade there. And I think that's fine. I'm definitely behind in this game, but again, if I can just sort of reduce some of the incoming damage even a little bit with a 30 HP base, I have a chance to come back in this. So we'll see what happens. This is a best of 3, by the way, as you might imagine. He's going to play an Inferno 4, which I'm very excited to see, because that means that I'm not going to take a ton of damage this turn via the Grand Inquisitor ability. I've still got that readied Battlefield Marine to attack into something too. So, the Grand Inquisitor is a situation where you do have to damage something to ready it, so that does leave that unit a little bit more vulnerable. With 3 resources remaining, I feel pretty comfortable just swinging in for 3. I don't know if I necessarily love that play, but I also know that I have the Boba leader flip coming this turn, and I'm kind of planning on being able to use that to control the board as well, right? So we'll see what happens here. Goes ahead and readies it. And I probably just attack right into it. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Yeah, it puts 2 damage on the Boba Fett leader, which is not the worst thing in the world, because again, those cards from Grand Inquisitor usually do the most when they are attacking. So when you attack into them, it's not as dangerous. So again, Boba leader here is not there for the buff. He's there for the board control at this point in the game. Just a big body to swing into things right away. So now I'm going to 7 resources. I could play the modded cohort and the Echo-based defender, which, depending on what he plays, might be the better use of those 7 resources. But then again, using reinforcements is always there to just kind of like flood the board too. And I can really look for things that synergize well with the Boba leader ability, giving everything with a keyword +1 attack. So we'll see what I end up going with. I actually played this about a week and a half ago, and he plays Grievous, which I love the Grievous Legendary. I think this is a card that's just a really great, well-statted aggro option for blue, which blue doesn't have a lot of access to. I mean, sure, he's got the neat ability with the lightsabers and everything, but, I really feel like he should just be in more decks for just being a good body, right? So I have to take a look at the Grand Inquisitor card, because again, I hadn't played against this in a long time. I had to refresh my memory a little bit on this one. But again, yeah, this was a match I played about a week and a half ago or so. At my most recent local, I actually played my most recent Wat Tambor list and won the local. I went 3-0 on the night. Unfortunately, I didn't record those games because I wanted to just kind of focus hard on playing. Looks like I decided to go with the play of just playing out the good stuff that's in my hand right now. Guaranteed great use of 7 resources with the modded cohort and the Echo-based defender. And so, we'll see where things go from here. But yeah, I'm pretty committed on the Wat Tambor front to play that for the store showdown. I think I might keep my list and deck building under wraps until that's over after this next weekend. And then, depending on how it does, do a little bit of a deck breakdown on that. I think it's a good list. I'll do a deck breakdown on it no matter what, just because it is a ton of fun to play, right? And I think getting some experience with double green on the villainy side is going to be good practice for when we get the green Pilot Vader leader coming in set 4, too, because the decks play somewhat similarly, I think. So look for that, probably next week sometime. But for now, we see the Inferno 4, doing a little bit of damage here. I'm at 14 on base. He has taken, 8 total, I think it is? Something like that? 8 or 7, maybe? It's hard to read with those dice. I bumped my camera stand. Whoops. All right, going up to 16 damage now. And so again, things are a little bit tight here. I don't want to have 16 damage on my base right now, but I'm starting to develop a little bit of a board that can start to fight back here. And with Grand Inquisitor being the aggressive deck that it is, being a little bit more on the low to the ground side, I'm hoping that I have a better top end. I really have no clue what's in his deck, so I'm kind of just playing it by ear here. And I'm also playing a list that I've never played before, too. So, I feel like there's a similar vibe to this Boba2 Cunning list, to something like Han Green, right, where you're going for a lot of value plays, you're ramping a little bit, you're using the Cunning shenanigans to, set up units on the board that don't necessarily do the most damage, but do a very good job of just being annoying. The new Enfys Nest is a great example of that. That's something that bounces their stuff back to the hand, but it can also swing pretty well with the 5 base attack. That's also a card that gets buffed by Boba Leader, right? So she even gets a little bit more extra range. And then you've got things like the set 1 Han unit, right? The ambush that doesn't take damage back, and if it deals its damage first and takes out the unit it's attacking into. Death Trooper comes in, 2 damage onto the Echo-based Defender. I decided to, well, I didn't decide. Boba's giving that aura +1 attack on units with keywords right now, and we're going to go modded cohort into what? Into the Death Trooper, right. So we leave Grievous up, but what this does is allow me to keep the modded cohort alive. And just having another unit on the board is really nice because, again, like, I don't think he's going to do something like run a daring raid. I'm not really worried about a lot of stuff that, can do 1 damage to a unit, at this point. I don't think he's running Vambrace Flamethrower, so I think I'm safe there. Another 3 damage in, so that takes him up to 10 damage on base. So I am kind of starting to come back in a big way here. He still can flip his leader, which I'm a little bit surprised he didn't actually last turn. It's very interesting. I wasn't sure if he had like a plan here for why he wasn't going to flip it because, again, I have a lot of stuff on the board, so maybe worried about having it die right away. We've got the Devastating Gunship coming in, removing a unit that has 2 HP or less, which does take out my Sentinel. Goodbye, Echo-based Defender. But I still have a lot of good attacking options here. And so we're going to take out Grievous. I'm doing a lot on the board control front. And the thing is, without a Sentinel, I do feel compelled to clear the board right now rather than just go for base, because him being at less damage on base, even though he does have a 25 HP base, I feel like I need to just, make sure that the board stays clear, make sure that I keep the damage on my side to a minimum, especially because I know there's going to be more damage coming in from the air now, right, that I can't do a ton about, unless maybe I can right here. What have I got? What am I playing? Is this a U-Wing? It is a U-Wing Reinforcements. Okay, well, so we'll see if I can find something in the air that handles this now. Let's see. Either way, I've got a good amount of damage on the ground. I'm ready for his flip. There's a Falcon. So funny enough, you can play the Falcon with U-Wing. There's the Han Solo. All right, we've got a Millennium Falcon up there as well. So what do I go with here? Was that I think I see a Bright Hope. Yeah, actually, I think I go Bright Hope Millennium Falcon here because I do need to handle the air. And so that's 7 resources worth of stuff, considering the ambush. But the thing is because my Boba Fett leader is out, the Bright Hope will have 3 damage on it, which is enough to trade with whatever he runs into it. So yeah, the Bright Hope, and I've got a feeling the Falcon, yeah, I think this is just a good way to, fingers crossed, lock down the air side of things, right? Because, he attacks into something with Bright Hope, it dies. I finish off whatever's left with the Millennium Falcon. I can always bounce that back to hand as well. Falcon is a really nice thing to grab with U-Wing Reinforcements. And so I feel pretty good at this point in game number 1, gotta say. That was pretty much exactly what I needed. And he's going to flip Grand Inquisitor now. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, I probably just swing into this with both of my units if I can. Just to remove that, right? Because I know I've got bigger stuff coming, right? I know this list runs the Emphas Nest. I know this list runs the Han Solo unit, right? So I know I can afford to trade very aggressively on board here and go down to a lower unit count, because chances are, the longer the game goes, again, assuming that his deck is more on the low to the ground aggressive side, which I don't have any reason so far to believe that it isn't, I can just play things that immediately deal with whatever smaller units he plays, right? All right, yeah, and Falcon into the Devastating Gunship. I'm fine with that trade there. I mentioned earlier bring it back to hand, but I guess I decided to just do that because, again, it's much more difficult for him to handle the Bright Hope now. So that makes sense. All right, Battlefield Marine into the Grand Inquisitor. He must have claimed initiative there. Yeah, and just takes it out. Wow. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so I don't know what happened there. I'm not sure why he claimed initiative so early. That just allows me to attack in. And yeah, the Marine is gone. Little oopsie on my part. Okay, and there's the new Emphas Nest from the last set here, and so that the last set I believe it is. So that lets me bounce a lot of stuff, right? So I'm kind of looking at whatever he plays, hoping I can bounce it, because again, with the Boba leader out. Oh, and I was hoping he wouldn't do that. Okay, yeah. So he does. He does take out the Boba leader unit, which does make my Emphas Nest play slightly worse because she won't get the +1 attack and be able to bounce something 1 attack higher, right? But yeah, why not attack into the Bright Hope? Make sure there's nothing else he can do to, somehow buff it or shield it, or, I just don't want to let that unit hang out, right? Especially when I can use a Bright Hope that still has 4 HP remaining on it. And I forgot to move the +1 counter off there, but that Inferno 4 had already taken 2 damage, so it was only at 1 HP, so the 2 attack from the Bright Hope would have finished off. So yeah, he goes ahead and plays a card. I immediately bounce it with Emphas Nest, and now I'm feeling very good because I have another one in hand now, and he doesn't have a good way to remove it. What do I resource here? Do I even resource anything? At 8 resources, I don't necessarily need to. I'm running things like Home 1 in here, and maybe, yeah, I believe that's kind of it on the top end, really. Home 1, Emphas Nest, and then the Han leader ability. Syndicate Lackeys, again, are really nice, too, just with the ability to swing for 6. Now I've got my leader side again, where I can respond to playing something by giving it +1 if it's got a keyword. So what'll it be? I feel like the game is kind of checkmated at this point, where I've got a good Sentinel in the air. I've got a good hand to handle whatever he plays, and just being able to have the ability to bounce something immediately with Emphas Nest without him having a response to it is good. And he plays the Inferno 4. I play the Echo-based Defender. I want to wait for that Emphas Nest attack until I really, really need to, right? Because I want to get the on attack. I don't want to just do damage to the base. I want to keep the board clear. Oh, okay. First Light is an interesting play there. From resources, I believe it is. And so, big grit ship, something that has kind of an aura buff, if I remember correctly. A lot, man, this deck had just like so many cards that I hadn't played against in a long time. Yeah, that's right. Each other friendly non-leader unit gains grit as well. And it itself has grit. Yep. So, actually looking back on that, I don't think he can do 4 damage to First Light itself with the smuggle cost, because the smuggle cost is 7 Vigilance Villainy, deal 4 damage to a friendly unit. I believe you have to do that damage as part of the cost, and that is what allows you to put the unit on the field. So I think that was actually a little mistake on both our parts to not recognize that. Now that I'm thinking about this card again, I remember that being a thing, right? And yeah, so what else am I going to play here? Yeah, just a Syndicate Lackeys without the ambush. That's fine. 2 damage to base here. And so we're starting to get there. We're starting to get there. In fact, we're pretty much there, right? We've got, 17 damage on base right now. Should be able to win this next turn. Unless he's got a big surprise up his sleeve. Let's see what it's going to be. And, okay, yeah, looks like we're just cleaning up. So he concedes. Game 1 goes to me, and we'll see if things change after a little bit of sideboarding. Okay, here we are back with game number 2. And, the thing is, I have to admit, I'm a player that I use my tokens in game 1, and instead of putting them back all nice and neat in my little token holder, I just leave them in a pile on the side of the playmat. It looks messy, but it's just easier. It's just easier to grab them that way. I'm not ashamed, right? So here you see a little bit more of what's in the deck. You do have 2 Boba Fett's armor. We've got some Gamorrean guards in there, or Gamorrean retainers, rather. And I will put the list down in the description, too, if you want to see it. It's a really, really neat list. I don't necessarily enjoy it as much as my Boba aggression lists, and I think Boba2 is a deck I kind of play for fun more than anything. But this is a good list, for sure. If you're looking for a solid Boba Fett 2 list that will win you some games, this is going to be it. So I decided to keep my hand here. And we have the Scout Bike Pursuer, that nice 1/4 out there. A really, really nice card for the Grand Inquisitor leader, of course, because it gets grit. You can ready it. Now it's going to swing for 3. It's going to be a 3/2, essentially. So that can attack the first turn. Really, really nice. He can choose to trade, but nope. Just does that same play as before. Goes and puts a shield on it. Nothing I can do about it now. He's got a shielded 3/4 with... or 3/2 effectively with the 2 damage on it with grit. So I'm just going to be taking some damage. And yeah, again, I think this just kind of shows off some of the power that the Grand Inquisitor list has early on. It's a scary start because now I'm thinking, all right, I can't bounce it. What am I going to do about this? I've got my 1 Plo Koon in the hand. I've got my Modded Cohort, and all my ambush doesn't really do a lot. I feel bad trading in with my Gamorrean Retainer. I don't have another command unit in hand that's cheap enough to play to give my Gamorrean Retainer Sentinel. So the best I feel like I can do right now is run my Cloud Rider into it and then use the Boba Leader ability to give the Gamorrean Retainer +1, but he's just going to play a Death Trooper and kill it anyway. So this is a rough start for me, no doubt about it. I go ahead and claim initiative. I take another 3 damage, up to 6 damage already on base, and so I'm like, uh-oh. And drawing a home 1 in a scanning crew, or scanning officer, does not really do me a lot of good here. Yeah, I think scanning officer is the right resource there, because I'm realizing, like, again, I'm just going to need to try to hold on. And, you know, I need to remove a unit. I'm going to have to play the modded cohort, run into his Scout Bike Pursuer probably is what I'm guessing here. Yep, that's right. Okay, so at least it lives with 1 HP. This makes him, you know, maybe want to trade. Again, if he's got, like, Fifth Brother or something, I'm in big trouble, I suppose. Nope, goes ahead and uses... Oh, what in the world is that, actually? I don't even remember what card that was. Okay, so just does a lot of damage. What is that one? I recognize the art, but I can't remember the name. But it is another buffing card from the most recent set. Now I gotta look it up. Let's see. Hold on. We're gonna find it here. All right, yeah, plays Hylabon Enforcer. That's not fun for me to see either. This game's not doing great. It is... What is that card? I'm going to find it, like I said. I'm not even looking at the screen right now, so things are happening, I'm sure. It just bugs me that I can't think of the name of that. Grim Resolve, that's right. I think that was Grim... Yeah, that was Grim Resolve. And so that attack with a non-leader unit, it gains grit for this attack. And so that allowed him to do a little bit more damage with that Death Trooper. 5 damage, in fact. Yikes. Great card for a Grand Inquisitor. And yeah, this is one of the fun things about Star Wars Unlimited as well, is that the longer the game goes, the more support's going to come out for old lists. And sure, we've got rotation coming in and all that, but you know, I think that's going to make the Eternal format, whatever it ends up being called, really, really fun, because you're going to get all this like insane synergy for some of the older leaders. So I'm excited to see how kind of like that meta develops as the game goes on. Obviously, like Premier with the most recent sets is going to be, you know, the way to go competitive wise, but I think the, you know, Unlimited, for lack of a better term, you know, format that we'll have, that'll have just like everything included in it is going to be really, really fun to go back and play. And yeah, just more and more damage. I am getting hammered here. It is rough. Plo Koon has to be thrown in. Ambush only does 3 damage. Coordinate not on the line. That's fine. I'm just trying to live. I'm just trying to live here. I've got an expensive hand. I've got a couple taunts, or a couple sentinels, rather. I've got some good top end. Can I live long enough for it to come out? The devastating gunship is also a pretty major problem. That's a lot of damage in the air, and I don't really have a great way to handle that. The Millennium Falcon, I guess, but it's like, hey, would you be okay with me playing this and then attacking into your important unit? You're not going to do anything to, you know, prevent me from attacking into your important unit, right? Right? That's a feeling you always have when you have to try to put something like that down. What's it going to be? Yeah, I'm just kind of at a loss right now, because I'm like, okay, well, you know, the Echo-based Defender is going to get taken out right away. He can flip Grand Inquisitor this turn, even though he didn't do it immediately last time. I've got, is it 5? Yeah, I've only got 5 resources, so I can only play 1 card. I didn't get a resupply this game, which hurt me quite a bit too, I think. And okay, yeah, Echo-based Defender. Seems like it'll likely get traded into right away. I put the +1 on the Plo Koon because +1 on the Echo-based Defender doesn't really do me a lot of good if it just gets traded into right away. And that looks like an open fire. Yeah, just open fire on that. So now he's still free and clear to attack the base, and I've got nothing else. I've got nothing I can play right now. I don't really love the idea of trading Plo Koon into a Death Trooper. that doesn't feel great, especially when I know his leader can flip this turn. But what choice do I really have here? Yeah. Oh, I do have 6 resources. Never mind. I thought I only had 5. So I can play something else. I guess I can flip Boba this turn too. Never mind. Forget everything I just said. I'm still in a rough position for sure. but being able to play the Falcon and flip Boba, like I'm not in as terrible situation as I thought it was. It's still a lot of damage on base though, and he hasn't taken any yet, so that is a concern. 5 damage more from the devastating gunship. Remember that is 3+ grit. Oh, I think I forgot to put a 10 on from before. Yeah. And I think I just say go next. Yep, that's right. Okay. Right. There's supposed to be an extra 10 on there. Either way, you were watching while I was looking up that card. You probably saw the life counter mess up before I did here. But yeah, game 2 goes 100% to Grand Inquisitor. I didn't even do a single point of damage. Let's see how game 3 goes to conclude the series. All right, we are back for game number 3. Here's my hand that I drew. I think I have to mulligan this. Yeah, it's a lot of expensive stuff. The resupply is really nice to see. Boba's armor is like okay, but yeah, 2 7-drops and more expensive stuff. Yeah, I go ahead and mulligan. All right, let's skip ahead slightly. Skipping. Cut the deck, and all right, what do I draw now? Let's find out. Hopefully, it's better hand. I don't remember. Okay, hey, another resupply. That's great. All right, Bright Hope, very good. Cloud Rider, much better hand. I think I stick the Enfys Nest in resources here. I've got plenty of big 7-drops to draw later on. The Plo Koon is a good candidate as well, but that makes me really need to count on drawing things. Did I just put the... Oh, all right. I put the Bright Hope in there. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Okay, so first turn, Cloud Rider, second turn, resupply, and then after that, I'm already going to 5 resources, so there's not a smooth time to play the Bright Hope. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, because then I can just play the Plo Koon on my third phase. That makes sense. Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I'm just pointing at the Boba leader. But yeah, on thinking more about it, I agree with my decision to resource the Bright Hope here. Unless I lose, then it was terrible. But Cloud Rider, he plays the Inferno 4, so I might as well just play this. And you know what? Exercise in remembering to use the Boba ability, even though it doesn't matter. And I just have a 3-1 on the board for next turn, so not a bad thing. And the next turn is probably going to be the resupply. And is he going to use the GA or GI ability here? He will. I don't think you use Security Complex here though. I don't think you put a shield token on an Inferno 4. Yeah, you just go 2 damage to base. That's fine. Security Complex just really throws a big wrench into things. I remember last game, like, there wasn't really anything I could do about his turn 1 play that included Security Complex. And that is really like the god draw, right, for this deck, is getting to play something that has a grit that you can ready and then put a shield token on. I just couldn't handle it. Like, that very first play of the game, that very first phase, just started a ball rolling that I could not stop, you know? So I go ahead and resupply in a much safer position than I did before. That +1 counter should be off of that Cloud Rider, by the way. Should be back on my leader. And I'm sure as I swing here, I remember, oh yeah, there just swings for 3. A lot of counters to think about. Wait till you see the Wat Tambor list. Oh boy, and there he is. Fifth Brother's back. And that 1 damage actually does take out the Cloud Rider, so the 1 HP on the Cloud Rider is impactful here. I'm up to 6 damage on base already. At least I got 3 in. That's something. I wouldn't have been able to take out the Fifth Brother just because, you know, he would have gotten the attack off. But, you know, and I would have had to, like, pass or something, which is kind of awkward. Maybe you could have, maybe there's an argument for not attacking with that Cloud Rider. I'm in a very, I'm in a rough situation again here. Ooh, okay. So Plo Koon, Enfys Nest, and 2 U-Wing reinforcements. So I've taken 6 damage already. I have to Plo Koon and just ambush in and take out the shield token. No choice there. At least it's only 2 damage back. That doesn't feel too bad, really. So next turn I can flip Boba, and hopefully I will have drawn, you know, a card to play. And then, you know, going Enfys Nest, U-Wing, or U-Wing Enfys, any combination of those 3 7-drops over the next, you know, few phases after that feels pretty good. And he's just, I claim initiative, so he's just going to do 2 damage and play 2 Scout Bike Pursuers. Whoa. And just going to attack with one of them, looks like. Yeah, so up to 16 damage on base already. Man, The Grand Inquisitor deck is so cool, actually. It can do so much damage so fast. And awkward draw for me. 6 resources. I end up resourcing the Gamorrean Retain. No, I don't. I resource one of the U-Wing reinforcements. I think that's probably okay. I need to be able to play both of these cards out. I can flip Boba this turn, so that will give the Gamorrean Retainer Sentinel when it's flipped, because the Gamorrean Retainer looks for another command unit to gain the conditional Sentinel. Attack in, finish off the 5th brother. I only take 2 damage back. So that is kind of nice that I'm able to at least take out one card and you know, keep a unit on the board with Plo Koon. It's not bad. Because remember, 5th brother gets raid for the damage on him, not grit. And looks like it's more aggression coming in here. 3 more damage on the base. Up to 19 damage already. And I have to try to stabilize. I have to try to, you know, just kind of pray that the resupply is giving me those 7 drops a little bit faster is going to be enough for the Kira. All right. And because I don't have any ambush or anything like that, let's see what it is. So this is an interesting choice, right? Takedown is annoying because you can just take down the Kira. But if he flips Grand Inquisitor and puts a Fallen Lightsaber on that, I'm just done. There is nothing I can do about that. I'm just dead in the water, right? So I think the logical choice here, I think I pick Takedown. No, I picked the Lightsaber here. I picked the Lightsaber because that kind of forces him to play the Takedown on my Kira, which then doesn't leave him enough resources to play the Lightsaber on his leader. So by picking the Lightsaber, I'm kind of dictating in my mind the rest of what his turn is going to be, and so that makes it much easier for me to play around. So yeah, I take another 1, it looks like. That takes me up to 20 damage. And I'm fully expecting him to use the takedown on my Kira at this point. That said, you know, it's it is nice that I can flip earlier here. Yeah, he's going to use that to ready the Scout Bike Pursuer again. All right, I play the Gamorrean Retainer, which works out really well because now I've got that Sentinel. So if he attacks with the Scout Bike Pursuer, it just trades, you know. So this turn actually worked out really well for me. He does 2 more damage to my base. I'm still at 22, which is a really rough position to be in, but I've built a pretty big board. And again, like, I'm just saying, come on, just use Takedown on my Kira. Yeah, just do it. You know, you want to play your Lightsaber next turn, right? So, you know, when you flip your leader next turn, so go ahead. Go ahead. Take down the Kira. We'll see what he does. But again, like I said, I'm trying to dictate how he plays out his next turn or two by picking the Lightsaber, knowing there's a takedown in hand. And we're just gonna... Do I just go base here? No, yeah. Do I? Oh, yeah, okay. So I attack in, and then he takedowns my Boba, which I'm kind of... Funny enough, I'm kind of okay with that. I'm like, you know what? That's fine, because now that Kira lives even longer, now it is still a little bit more difficult to get him to get that lightsaber out there. It's going to cost his entire turn to play that lightsaber, which is still a concern for me. But yeah, here we go. Okay, I'm up to 7 resources. I decide to keep the modded cohort over the syndicate lackeys because the difference between 5 and 6 damage is not gigantic, but being able to spend 1 less resource on it can be impactful if I draw another 3-drop next turn. So I'm going to U-Wing here, just trying to find a command unit first and foremost to give my Gamorrean Retainer Sentinel again, but also, you know, maybe find something that I can use to get ready for the leader flip, right? What's it going to be? You know, I could see maybe Echo-based Defender and Huyang, possibly. Not Huyang. Echo-based Defender and modded cohort. What am I talking about? I saw Huyang and my brain just said Huyang. Echo-based Defender and modded cohort, because modded cohort could go into the Hyloben Enforcer, and then Echo-based Defender could just be there to be a Sentinel, and then Gamorrean Retainer would do that. That's another way to do it. Block the air, and then this again gives Gamorrean Retainer Sentinel. I've got 3 resources to choose from. I probably just grab the Echo-based Defender again, right? Funny thing. I could grab the Huyang and buff my Gamorrean Retainer, That'd be kind of a funny play. But that might be a little bit too cute, is what they call it, you know? Rather than just a card that absolutely has Sentinel on the board, you know? But it's a tough choice. I'm really thinking about what's going to be the most effective way to block the incoming damage, and yeah, I think this is right. Where's the Boba +1 going to go here? Yeah, Gamorrean Retainer. Then I have 2 4 damage Sentinels. I am okay with that. Oh, I put it on the Kira. Okay, all right. You know, if I put it on the Kira, this does let me attack it at the Hylabun Enforcer and take it out, because it brings her up to 4 damage. I think that might be my thought process here. Because, yeah, 4 damage on my Gamorrean Retainer doesn't really make a big difference. He's not going to attack into it with his Hylabun Enforcer anyway. There's a card for a card. I'm happy with that. And remember, Retainer still has Sentinel because of the Bright Hope. And so Kira will attack into the Hylabun Enforcer, yeah. And I think maybe he missed that one. I think maybe he, I can't remember exactly, but he might have missed that I could just take it out that way. So I think there was a little bit of a sequencing error on his part to do that. I'm not sure what else was in the hand, you know, because he did draw 2 more cards since I played that Kira. There's a 5th brother. Plo Koon is going to run into 5th brother, right? Because, yeah, now I've got coordinates. So that's 6 damage. Oh, okay, yeah. So I think a couple little misplays on his side of things there. And the way he sort of like slapped down the Grand Inquisitor there makes me think he felt that. Like I said, I can't remember exactly everything that happened in this game, but that line of play, I think there were, I think I was in okay position, but I think there were some misplays there too. So he's got the lightsaber on the Grand Inquisitor anyway, which I tried to avoid. But wait, he couldn't have done that. Hold on. Okay, I remember this now. Yeah. So we didn't catch that he forgot about the Kira effect on the lightsaber. And now I remember. Now I'm remembering it. Yeah. So we do a little bit of a rewind here again, I think. Because yeah, it's a local. So when something like this happens, I'm like, no worries. Let's just rewind it. We know what the game state was before you played it, so you know. Oh, I think if I remember right, I think he thought that Kira only did it like the turn she came into play, and it's not a aura thing. Yeah, which I was kind of surprised to hear, but I think that's what was said. I can't remember, but either way, you know, it's a local, so yeah, we just rewind it, get back to the game state we were at, have him make a different decision. Remember, the point of locals is twofold, right? The point of playing in locals is to have fun, first and foremost, and to learn is the second thing. And so in situations like this, you know, you just say, all right, let's just back it up, make a different decision. No problem. So what's that decision going to be now? Let's see. Just going to take initiative. All right. And my Gamorrean Retainer would have been readied, I believe, actually. So I should have probably gotten an attack in with that. I think I messed that up. Oh, well. A lot to keep track of. Maybe got out of some free damage there. But what's my next hand going to be? Moving on. Now, I'm quite excited about the possibility of playing Han Solo into the Grand Inquisitor. But I'm a little bit worried about him using the... I'm a little bit worried about him using the just all his resources for the lightsaber. And did he just attack him with the Grand Inquisitor there exactly? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. I remember. We were talking through it, and he was like... I was like, you know, instead of taking initiative, you should have just attacked it. I don't know. Who knows what's happened at this game? It's all messed up. But we're moving on anyway. I don't remember. I could go back and figure it out, but I don't feel like it. You can figure it out. Let me know in the comments. What exactly happened there? What was the sequence of play? Anyway, Han Solo handles the Grand Inquisitor pretty well, and from here on, I feel like I have a pretty good position. I've got Enfys Nest, I've got the U-Wing reinforcements, and so even being at 22 damage on base, I feel confident that I can handle whatever comes out here. All right. And he's got the initiative again. Take my +1 off the Bright Hope as we get set for the next action phase here. All right, Seventh Sister. Another one of those Inquisitor characters that Grand Inquisitor obviously likes to run. She can be activated by a GA, but I'm just going to bounce back to hand. I mean, that's the nice thing about the Enfys Nest, is that you bounce based on power. So that was a lot of resources spent on his side just to have it bounced, right? And he just concedes. That's it. Yeah. So got a little bit messy in the end of the game, but the end of that last game. But I don't think anything would have changed really. I think there were some misplays that kind of set me up for an easier victory than I would have gotten otherwise. But I felt like I was in a pretty good position regardless, and that's going to be the match. So, you know, despite the awkward ending, a really, really fun match. It was fun to play against something like Grand Inquisitor that I hadn't played against in a long time. That was my first time out on this Boba Fett list as well. I think I'm talking about that I sideboarded in some of the Bright Hopes and things. But yeah, really fun list. I'll put the link in the description. Go play it. I think it's great. I don't think it's going to like win tournaments, but maybe I can't say that because it did take top 4 in a PQ. So maybe with the right pilot, you can do well with it. Either way, oh, there's my Watt Tambor list. Oh, it's so good. So much fun. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.